What's up, y'all? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, man, I ain't making it without you guys. Man, the hits keep coming, man. Can't believe DMX is gone. We've lost so many stars of my youth, you know. Rough Riders, man. That was like the anthem. I mean, DMX, he had his issues and problems, drug addiction and things like that, man. But this is where I always say I'm old, and I don't say it as I'm trying to make fun of myself, although you could make fun of myself. But I keep seeing so many people that are younger than me that aren't here. I'm actually feeling blessed that I've at least made it for 55 years, and I just don't know how many more I have left. So, man, wow, that one really hits home. It's just like Houdini. One of them died just a couple months back, rapper Jalil. Anyway, as time keeps on ticking here, I'm sitting here thinking about the Dallas Cowboys because Jerry Jones, likes to be the GM and the genius behind the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to win or lose by what Jerry Jones does. But it seems that he's forgotten some of the things that he did in the past that ended up being the things that made the difference for the Dallas Cowboys. And as I sit here and I look, as we've gone through free agency, KJ Wright, I'm trying to understand what's going on with KJ Wright. Now, Aldon Smith, I can understand why nobody signed Aldon Smith. Aldon Smith, allegedly, there may be some off-the-field issues or something that's coming down the pipeline from the NFL that may suspend him for a while. KJ Wright still played great last year, and the fact that KJ Wright still does not have a job, I understand the Cowboys decided they're going to pass on him. But here's the thing about the Cowboys, that we got to go back to the 90s. The Herschel Walker trade, let's be clear, was the main thing that brought the Dallas Cowboys into being the Dallas Cowboys. When you get that many picks and that many players for one guy, you're ahead of the game, okay? We keep seeing now teams that are on the reverse side of that, trading, trying to get that quarterback, and they're giving up so much draft capital that the teams that they're trading with, it looks like in the long run, are actually in better shape than the teams that traded up reaching for that guy. Be that as it may, the Cowboys weren't built solely by those players that they drafted. The Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones forgot about what he did to make that team the way it was. Understand, we got like Nate Newton, who was an undrafted free agent that Washington originally, again, a lot of people don't realize that Washington had Nate Newton. Didn't work out. He played on the Tampa Bay Bandits before the Cowboys took a flyer on him and brought him in, and he became a great guard. But not only that, the Cowboys actually got Jay Novacek from the Cardinals. That's right. The Cowboys got, as a free agent, Jay Novacek from the Cardinals. But even beyond that, okay, because at those times, you didn't see those two guys as being guys that were going to be great, players, parts of 3 Super Bowl teams. You didn't see that with those guys. Those were lesser talents. I get that. But as we go through and we sign guys that are bottom basement, we hope that they'll turn out to be a Jay Novacek or a Nate Newton. But we also went out and we got proven guys that ended up being difference makers on the team. And what I'm talking about is like Charles Haley. It wasn't that Charles Haley was not a dominant player before he got to the Dallas Cowboys. He was one of the best defenders in the NFL. We traded for Charles Haley because the 49ers, he went after Steve Young. And I understand that one completely because, see, Charles, when he played in college football at JMU, we didn't do a whole lot of winning back then. 3-4 wins a season out of 11 games. Charles is competitive about everything, including playing spades. You think that every game of spades, if you ever played with Charles Haley, was a freaking Super Bowl, and he couldn't stand to lose. And so when he got to the 49ers, I'm going to tell you, this is my thoughts behind this. When he got to the 49ers and they started winning, got the taste of winning, because Charles is always about winning. And if you weren't about winning, he's going to kick your ass. And when they lost some games and Steve Young was the one to blame, I can guarantee you Charles Haley went to that mother humper and said, listen, you taking some shit from me. Victory. I ain't about that. And that's why he had to get up on out of there. But the Cowboys went out and they got that dominant guy to add to the defense. A lights out player. A future Hall of Famer. A power shift from the 49ers to the Cowboys. But that wasn't the only thing that Jerry did. Jerry Jones went out there and he spent some money. He said, you know what? I want the best cornerback in football. And went out there and got prime time and paid him a king's ransom. You took a risk on a guy who had some problems but was dominant. You spent some money to get the best cornerback in football. You did those things, and you end up with 3 Super Bowl championships. Now, I'm trying to understand where that Jerry Jones is. Because now Jerry Jones has stayed away from guys that are dominant. Like a Namakitsu, like a Richard Sherman. Guys that may be a little bit controversial. He's gotten away from that. And he's gotten away from signing the best and spending money for it. And I dare say the results that we're getting have a direct correlation from that. You can't, we've been really good and very fortunate in the draft. But you still have to use that free agency and take some risks. The thing that has so often been overlooked for our Dallas Cowboys is the defense. We always, in your mind, you always remember those great plays of Michael Irvin, him, boom, throwing. Or Emmitt Smith, with the separated shoulder running and things. We don't remember those dominant hits by the Leon Letts and the Charles Haleys and Ken Norton Jr.'s, the stops, the takeaways, the interceptions, the special teams by Deion Sanders. Those things are just as important in winning a Super Bowl and having those guys on your team. We don't go and get those anymore. And as I look at this team, it's that lack of talent. Honestly, when you look at the Dallas Cowboys defense, the players that are on there, how many of those guys do we have on the roster right now that could compare to any of the guys on those defenses that we had in the 90s or the 70s? And herein lies where Jerry Jones, for whatever reason, is not spending the money, is not taking the risk on players that can play. And at some point, you got to start doing that. You can't expect to win without the talent on the defense. Chicks dig the deep ball, but defenses, they win those championships. Jerry, don't forget about that.